My name is Ming Fay. I'm an artist and I live in New York City.
On April 27, 2010, Ming Fay unveiled his latest creation, Out of Jungle, at the Leslie Heller Gallery on Orchard Street in New York City's Lower East Side.
This particular place has history with me personally. When I was a sophomore in college, first time coming to New York, I was crashing in different friends' places, and one of the places I stayed was on Orchard Street. 15 years ago or so, I was showing in one of those old Lower East Side clothing stores, and I did an orchard. That's when I discovered that Delancey's Orchard was an actual orchard, and Orchard Street was named after the orchard that was there. Then following that, I was in a public art competition for MTA project, and which is also in this area a few blocks away.
In 2004, Fay completed the installation of 2 mosaic murals in the Delancey Street subway station as part of the MTA Arts for Transit Permanent Art Program. Fay drew inspiration from the history and character of the surrounding neighborhood, a trend that extends beyond the Delancey project. After a career spanning nearly 40 years in New York, Fay explains how the city has informed his art.
Situation start to influence the work that come out from being here. And because it's the environment, because what's going on there, because what you absorb from what you've been before and trying to come up with something new. So I started doing work that relate to nature in the late 70s, where prior to that I was doing geometrical work. From relating to nature, I went a little bit deeper and got into the symbolism of nature, which is all man-made.
In Chinese culture, nature carries symbolic and mythic meaning, a concept Fay uses for inspiration in his artwork.
That become my working source. Essentially, is a place where mankind and nature meet, and different cultures deal with it differently. And me being the Chinese heritage, Western educated, I have my own little crack of how I see the world.
After completing a master's degree in fine arts in California, Fay moved to New York City to pursue his career, a transition that made him reevaluate his artistic process.
And when I realized that what I have is my 2 hands, so everything become handmade. And material has to be of economic value so that I can have access to it. And it has to be lightweight so that I can carry up to my loft. So from there, I successfully used my hand and my ingenuity in creating a media that worked for me, and it still works for me up to this date. And essentially was from paper pulp and the idea of making an armature. And it's actually very Chinese foundation of how forms are made. It's actually mixed material. The only difference is in the Chinese culture, a lot of times things are made with a bamboo structure and then it's covered with paper. And I basically borrow that concept and apply it in a more contemporary sense.
Having mastered this technique, Fay entered his garden period, producing a collection of elaborate fruit and plant sculptures.
So in the beginning, I see the nature that was available in a city like New York as totally aggrandized and magnifique, because we have everything here, and it's all shipped in. And I thought that was great. In New York, I live very near Chinatown. I become a vegetarian. I eat all the produces that was from Chinatown and surrounding. And the oranges are always beautiful. The pears is always sweet. And I went on to praise that, what mankind has done to nature, and make it accessible to everybody. So that was the first layer of theme that I worked on for the next 10 years of that. And that's my earlier work.
From the garden, Fay transitioned into a more esoteric phase, during which he invented hybrid creations and abstract forms. The next stage of his work focused on the concept of the money tree.
The money tree has always been in the Chinese culture for a long time. They just dug up recently a Han Dynasty tomb with bronze money trees in it. And that was inspiring to me. But that was ancient money tree, modern money tree, Ming Fay's money tree, and I play on that rim for the next 10 years. Talking about the present 10 years, from the money tree, you're sort of at the end of the world, because if you can grow money on the tree, you got this whole society ambition covered. I have my own private money tree garden. So I have to leave. I go to the jungle and then start collect strange things. That's totally meaningless, but it's interesting visually. Totally exotic because it doesn't even exist, but relate to whatever knowledge I have. I become a shaman, I become a trader, I become the explorer. So in a roundabout way, I just returned from my jungle trip, and this is the marketplace. Trader Ming showing his latest wear on Orchard Street.